Welcome to Financial Timvo, a place where we unlock the hidden stories behind money, power, and the decisions that shaped our world. There was a moment in history when money stopped being real. A moment when governments quietly changed the rules of the entire global financial system. And almost nobody noticed. This single decision reshaped economies, changed nations, and affected every human being alive today. This is the day money stopped being real. For thousands of years, money had one simple rule. It had to be backed by something real. Gold, silver, metals you could touch, weigh, and measure. If a government printed too much money, people could demand gold in return. This kept nations honest. It kept inflation under control. And most importantly, it gave people trust. By the 20th century, this system evolved into something called the gold standard. Every currency had a fixed value. Every dollar represented a certain amount of gold stored in a vault. Stable, predictable, safe. But behind the scenes, this system was slowly breaking. After World War II, the world agreed on a new monetary order called Bretton Woods. The US dollar became the global anchor, and the dollar itself was backed by gold. For a while, it worked beautifully, but then came the big problem. Governments wanted to spend more money than they actually had. Wars, social programs, economic expansion. Countries printed more money, but the amount of gold never increased. This created a dangerous imbalance. Foreign nations started doubting the system. They began demanding their gold back from the United States. Gold reserves fell, trust faded, and the global financial system entered its most fragile moment. In 1971, the world reached a breaking point. On August 15, 1971, everything changed. US President Richard Nixon addressed the nation. In a calm, reassuring tone, he announced what would later be called the Nixon Shock. His message was simple but historic. The United States will no longer convert dollars into gold. With that single sentence, thousands of years of financial tradition ended. Money was no longer tied to gold, no longer backed by anything physical. Money became just paper, a promise, a belief, and the world accepted it. It was supposed to be temporary, but temporary became permanent. After 1971, a new era began, the era of fiat money. Fiat means by decree, money that has value simply because the government says it does. No gold, no silver, no limit. Governments could now print money whenever they wanted. Banks could create loans from thin air. Debt became the foundation of modern economies. Inflation started rising. Currencies began losing their long-term value. And slowly, quietly, people's purchasing power began to decline. This was not an accident. It was a design, a system, built on credit, debt, and expansion. The moment money detached from reality, everything changed. Housing prices soared, education and health care became more expensive. Millionaires and billionaires multiplied. Countries accumulated massive national debts. Banks gained more power than ever. Before the rich began benefiting from the system, their assets rose with inflation. The poor saw their savings shrink, and the middle class slowly squeezed. All from a decision most people never learned about in school. Half a century later, the effects of that day still shape our world. The 2008 crisis, global inflation, currency collapses, massive government debt, booming stock markets. Everything connects back to the moment money became an abstract idea, a system built on trust and sometimes fear. Money today is not real in the way it used to be. Its value depends on decisions we never voted on, systems we don't control, and forces we often don't understand. But here, inside the Financial Timeville, we unlock these hidden truths, one story at a time. Subscribe for more financial history that shapes our world today.